Yeah, tough act to follow. How are you? Good. Good.
Talk about taking the show from the more grounded first season to now adding,
Dr. Babineau and such?
yes,
Yes, it was. I think that was the major task because first and foremost, it was always a character-driven show about the monster inside these characters, which is what I loved about the book when Stephen sent it to me. Not the monsters outside the characters, not just about the fog and the this and the that, the monsterish whatever. It was about the monster inside these people and the monstrous thing that this Brady Hartsfield did and the repercussions of that. And a disenfranchised man who was trying to figure out how to live the rest of his life with meaning. Season 2, because of where we left Brady Hartsfield at the end of season 1, with his brain bashed in, both in Stephen's book, where we went more toward the second half of the second book and a bit of the third, took us into a realm that had to do with the help of Dr. Babineau and his wife, the power of the human brain, which definitely got us into what I call Stephen Kingdom a little bit more. And we worked really hard not to fall off that tightrope, from scripts to execution to keeping it still grounded in the real world where these characters are struggling with these issues. And it was at times a struggle, but I think what came out of it was a really terrific season that takes us into that realm and still keeps it a character first. We're with these people and these horrible events. How is this possible? It asks that question. And I believe it is. And Hodges takes us on a journey with our other characters that believe it is too. And that was really exciting and challenging.
well, thank you for not killing the dog or the tortoise.
Oh, that was terrifying.
Season 1, yeah, season 1. Isn't it? It's sad but true that you can kill how many people, but you can't kill a dog. You can't kill. We have 6 dogs. I mean, dogs rule our lives, my wife and I, and we have a tortoise, which is why Fred's in the show, because David Kelly fell in love with it. I got him this big for our younger daughter, 6 weeks old. Now he's 28. I thought he was a perfect metaphor for Hodges, just, I don't want to talk anymore. But yeah, no, we didn't do that. And have you seen the first 2 episodes this year?
No.
Okay, well, they're out there and I hope you guys really like it. I'm proud of it and I think the work is really strong, the acting is great, and I think it's a really exceptional ride. And note, I don't want to give a spoiler alert, but no dog, no tortoise, no,
Don't say cat.
I can't say no dog. I won't even say no tortoise now because I have to walk that back. And the reason I'm walking it back is because of the truth. And also, I thought you were referring to Jerome's dog. Yeah. Okay, so Ziggy is alive and well. Ziggy, who's my daughter's dog, who's our costume designer. And Ziggy plays Odell. And Odell is alive and well, as is Fred.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
When you're writing for Hodges, are you picturing the actor, the source material, or how are you finding that voice for his character?
Well, I'm not doing the actual writing. I'm exec producer and director. I show run it, but I do it. I always feel like I'm involved in choices and rewriting scripts with the writers and all that, but they make the recipe, we make the meal. It's kind of how it goes. And I think everybody, all our writers, David Kelly, top of the list. I mean, we all, when I first mentioned Brendan Gleeson, when we were putting this together, everybody loved the idea because he's born to play Hodges. We weren't sure he was going to do his Irish accent. And at first, Brendan didn't want to because he's an American guy. And we didn't want the detective either from the South or here because there's certain cliches that come with that. And Brendan and I wanted it to be a real honest, this is a man, this is a real guy. He gets up in the morning and takes him a long time to pee. We're going to watch that and not dress it up in anything. And David said, are you sure he shouldn't do his Irish accent? David Kelly, he said, because the way the Irish say, David's Irish, but American Irish, he said, the way they say fuck. He says, it's so musical, I love it. And I said, well, we'll talk to Brendan about it, and we started conversations. And at the end of the day, we decided that Brendan would be much freer, not worrying about, Brendan, let's do another take, it sounds a little Irish, because he hasn't done it that much. So we made the right choice. So what I would say about writing for Brendan Gleeson, it comes from the writers, it comes from Hodges, the Hodges that Brendan and we created. And Brendan then takes it and refines it. You know, where he'll change the phrase or do this or do that. We do a lot of that with the actors. We do a lot of inventing there. But it all starts with the writers. No, Stephen King is like the world's greatest cheerleader as an exec producer. He loves the show. He loves what I'm doing. We're all doing with it. Season 1, he said about 7 episodes in, you know, when I get these episodes, the cuts, I think, Jesus, why didn't I do that in the book? Which I said, I'm going to tell the writers because that's the greatest compliment, as opposed to why are you guys screwing up my book, which so many writers think. And he's very happy with season 2 because we had to veer even more from the second book in season 2 because Hodges and everybody doesn't come into it until 250 pages in. So we really had to follow his breadcrumbs in the forest, but take it down a slightly different path. But he's very happy with it and proud of it. Everybody says it's one of the best Stephen King adaptations so far, which I find really a high compliment.
Does he get a cameo this season?
We'll see.
Is there any scene from season 1 that Steven said, I really love how you brought that to life?
There are quite a few. And of course he loves the one, the massacre in the restaurant, where he says, who played that chef? He was brilliant. But I have to say that I do a lot of inventing in the show, and Brady in the Lair in season 2, which becomes something you'll see. Harry and I, we did a lot of inventing. And Harry dancing in season 1, you know, when he's in the lair and he's doing something, just is doing the crazy dance where he gets out the phones. I said to Harry at one point, you know, I'm a painter and I paint in my studio, and sometimes I'll be listening to Leonard Cohen or Bob Dylan while I'm painting. When I love the way a painting's going, I'll start moving around and kind of dancing. And he went, oh, I guess I don't want. I said, no, you don't want to watch that. He said, but somewhere I think Brady should cut loose and just be fucking dancing. It's his place. And so he came in one day, he says, what if I'm dancing in this scene? I said, perfect. And he brought the Tom York song, and he danced to it, and it was genius. And so we're constantly doing that stuff, which is really fun. But Stephen King did say because I thought of the cesarean pulling the choo-choo train out of her belly in that scene, out of Mom's belly. And I said, what did you think of that, Stephen? I was really proud of it. And he said, it was gross, but great. I said, well, if you call it gross, that really is a compliment.
He's a monster from a fairy tale that you would only tell children you hate.
There have been no changes on the EEG, no signs of mental activity.
If he was looking at me, he was conscious.
You're still ticking, still drawing breath.
He's
brain activity is spiking. It's not possible.
I am telling you, I saw consciousness.
He's away.